He's definitely immersed in the culture, you can tell. He is a TikTok superstar.
Yeah, we really wanted to dive in with him about how to work with both an in-house content creator who might not be like your traditional graphic designer or video editor, but really someone who is immersed in internet culture and just makes content for that. And I think Justin really shows you what being that person is. And I think this is a really important conversation to send to your leadership or anyone around your team. It is really interesting about how to trust your team with working with a person who just gets the internet.
Hi, Justin. Thanks for being on the show. So would love to hear a little bit from you about who you are, where you're from, where you're at in your career, how you got here. And if you want to dive into the TikTok stuff, we're happy to go there too.
My name is Justin Jordan. I live in Ohio. I'm currently the video producer over at a t-shirt company called Homage. What was the question? How I got here? Oh gosh. I
From the
graduated
very beginning.
from the very beginning. It was a dark and stormy night in Birmingham, Alabama. But I went to Otterbein like Meredith, and I majored in
And
journalism and
Jesse, our
media.
producer, sorry, had to tell
Wait,
you.
really?
Another one. Yeah.
No way. What year did you graduate?
Well, like I did a teaching program, so a lot like 2011.
Whoa, no way. We would have
Mhm.
went around the same time then.
I can't believe I never saw you guys on campus.
That is why. Anyway, sorry. Yeah, we all went to Otterbein except Kelsey, unfortunately. But majored in journalism and media communications. I had a reputation on campus as the only person who knew how to do video stuff, weirdly.
Okay.
Yeah, it was very interesting. No, here's the thing about Otterbein. They advertise it as a small school, and they're like, yeah, it's a small school. You can do whatever you want. But I don't think people realize like what that means is that like no one's really around to like, in my case, in my major, to like stop you from doing stuff. And there's so many
Well, that's
students
true. That's very
that
true.
like get involved in everything, and so no one was really using it like I was, and so I was like, well, if it's thousands of dollars of equipment, I'll just yoink, and it was very funny. Yeah, and as soon as I graduated, I went to work at NBC4 as a video editor and everything, and that was really fun. Then the pandemic happened, and it was a whole thing, and I had a bunch of skills that I wasn't using, or like I didn't have a way to prove myself in a way that like looked good on paper. Like I don't know if you guys like seen this, like whenever you're interviewing for a job, they're like, "What accounts have you run?" And you're
Yeah,
like,
yeah, yeah.
"Oh, um, well, good question.
Yeah.
Quite a few." And there's no way to say like, "Oh well, but my personal page only has 100 followers." You gotta put your money where your mouth is. And this is like the same time video was kind of like taken off, like TikTok
Sure.
specifically was taken off, and online short form video was taken off. And so I kind of like put peanut butter and I put it with jelly, and then it kind of like took off from there. And so then I became a reputable person to be like, how do you actually record this? Or what is the good practices? Because it was just a bunch of trial and error during the pandemic of seeing what works on my personal account. And I was able to deliver that information to people. And then, yeah, and then it was a weird interview phase where I almost worked for one company that will rename nameless. And then I worked for Denny's, which is really fun. And
Wow.
that was really a cool experience. And now I work at Homage as a video producer. And now Meredith asked me to be here on this cool podcast. It's been a pretty cool, fun ride. I really
That's
appreciate
so
it.
amazing. There's such a weird like journalism undertone to all of these social jobs I'm finding. It's so interesting. So many people start out in English or journalism like in college and
Yeah.
yoink their way in your words to where they are today.
Highly
Yeah,
recommend it. Use your journalism degree, it helps.
it really does. And you also really deeply undersold your TikTok. I also saw Freddie leave the room. His
Oh,
TikTok
yeah.
handle is Freddie's roommate, which
Yeah.
his roommate is Freddie, his dog. He is not a dog named Freddie, much to everyone's
I
disappointment.
am not Freddie. Freddie is the roommate. It is true what they say. Like, if I would have thought this would have worked, I would have chosen a better username than Freddie's roommate. But now it's like I literally cannot get rid of it, and it's like, oh well, all right, here we go.
Yeah.
It's a good name.
So Justin very wholesomely was asking the internet how to just get better outfits. And it was the most beautiful thing to watch from afar because people were, it was truly like the best of the internet coming together and helping Justin just like pick outfits out. And then, I mean, this was just my POV from the outside. Just like, then you started saying, I'm also interested in movies and D&D and gaming, and you have like ridiculously deep interests, and you can talk the talk better than most people on the internet and most things. And I love when you call people out on anything like that. People will tell Justin that he is like, that he doesn't know what he's talking about with D&D. It'll be like, actually, and my quest that, I mean, I'm using the wrong terminology, that I've been doing for 11 years, I did this, this, and this. And it is absolutely beautiful and truly like what it means to show up on the internet is how Justin does it. And it's amazing. But I think what is also interesting about you, Kelsey and I had a really hard time trying to articulate how to say like freelance content creator. What do you call yourself outside of your day job?
Ooh, outside of my day job, I want people to call me a video producer, but it hasn't stuck yet. It really hasn't, because I don't think people in my job set call themselves video producers. I think we should call ourselves video producers. You know what I mean? It was like, I don't know, if you not fast forward, rewind 10 years ago, you would just be called YouTubers, you know?
Right.
We're just called YouTubers, but YouTube is not the place where people are launching themselves nowadays. And so it became like influencers, which I don't think that's accurate to like what I do. I think content creator is also not accurate
Right.
to what I
It
do.
feels more complex than content creation,
Yes.
which is why we didn't want to attribute that to it. But we're like, well, what do you call it?
It's probably the journalism in me that wants to call myself a video producer, because from soup to nuts, right? I come up with the idea, I execute the idea, I edit the video, I send you drafts, I rework the problems in the video. I say, this is where the analytics say that this is a good idea or this is a bad idea. To me, that says I'm planning and executing the vision. So to me, that is a producer, and like, you know what I mean? But not a lot of people see it that way. People think like, I don't know, like a movie producer, you know, like
I mean, that's art direction and strategy and the whole gamut.
Exactly. Like no one's like making like the logos in Photoshop and then sending that out for approvals like I am. No one's doing that. But I am, in a way that other content creators I think should be doing, but it's a whole nother discussion, you know? So I want video producer to catch on. It's not going to. It's like I'm trying to make fetch happen. It's not going to happen, but it's okay. I'll live with it, you know?
Yeah. And
We'll call this episode video producer, Jess.
Thanks.
I mean, I like the title. I'm with you. I think you're also a director.
Oh, that is true. I do direct a lot of photo shoots.
You are the buck stops with you, right? The creative vision, all of it. You're the director.
Yeah, but I have to answer to someone too at the same time. You know what I mean?
Like,
yeah, I am the talent too. Yeah, let me add that to my resume too. You guys are hyping me up way too much, man. I'm getting the big head already.
So this is interesting because when you were introducing yourself, you were saying, you know, you were doing all this great work for brands and sort of using your personal brand as a testing ground to like learn and take those insights and, you know, use them for the brand work. But then your personal brand also took off as a result of that. So is that still sort of your philosophy? Are you still testing and learning on the brand accounts, on your personal accounts? Are you seeing a bigger difference now between the two?
Here's the thing. Well, I'm gonna. Here's the thing. Here's the thing. Sometimes I'll sit in meetings and be like, I know I'm right. And then I'll just try it on my own. And I'm like, wow, I was right. That's crazy. So a lot of times my personal page is for validation. I'm like, I know this idea works. Let me try it and like work it out, you know? And so like Freddie's roommate is for now is always going to be a cushion for me. You know what I mean? It still
Yeah.
brings money into the household, so I'm never gonna like throw it away. Sometimes it's not the main priority. You know what I mean? Because it's not like what's it called? The lead money maker, if that makes any sense.
The
Because content
breadwinner.
creation is so inconsistent. You know, it's like I like to think of myself as a very middle class influencer. I'm not Alex Earl. I'm not like getting sent to like Cabo. But send me to your convention. I will talk about your product. You know, send me whatever. You know, it's a very weird space to be in. You know what I mean? Am I making
Yeah.
any sense?
I
I'm so
mean,
sorry.
you've been sent to movie premieres before. Like,
I've been sent to Broadway premieres,
oh,
which is
Broadway premieres.
very.
Okay.
I want to get to a movie premiere. That would be so cool. Wouldn't that be so fun? Oh my
Yeah.
gosh.
I mean, you have almost 200,000 followers on TikTok. I
Yeah.
checked today.
Yeah.
Yeah, you're pretty close. And
So close.
and he just had a Business Insider article published about him too, about how well, you can talk about it because that is fascinating and also should be in this podcast. It's amazing.
Yeah. Well, long story, I had a video go viral just talking about how bad certain jobs were. You know, you ever think about like stupid rules, you know? Like for the longest time, I thought it was normal that you had to ask another adult to use the restroom. You know, it's like I don't know if this is a good idea anymore, you know? And so now that where I'm in a place where I'm slightly more cushy, you know, I don't have to ask people to use the bathroom. You know, I can get water on my own. That's crazy. You know, like what? They let us get away with so much here, you know? And that's weird. And I think it resonated with a lot of people because either A, they didn't realize like, wait, that is kind of stupid that we have to ask for humanity based on like very silly things, you know? Or like, oh my gosh, the commiserating of how awful like jobs, especially during the pandemic too, when we didn't
Sure.
know what was going on and it was survival mode, you know? Like I had lost my job and it was like, ooh, and TikTok wasn't a thing yet. You know, you ever be I don't know if you guys relate to this at all. You ever be in a relationship where like I need you to bet on me. It's not good right now, but trust me, give me like
Yeah.
a couple years and it's good. That was right before everything took off. I was like, whew, thank God that bet on me worked out, you know? Yeah, but like I call it the crusty period. I was crusty. It's true because like I don't know, I had to bet a lot of chips on myself for things to actually work. You know what I mean?
You guys are the best. But the thing that got me about the Business Insider article is that the people who read Business Insider
Right.
they were super interested in the like your perspective of that because people in leadership don't even think about that being an issue for people. Like
Hmm.
that was such a shocking POV to come up that it needed an article to be written about. And I loved that you were able to have that. It shouldn't be this shocking that all of a sudden this person who makes phenomenal content now works for an awesome brand. Like you were not an overnight success. You work incredibly hard. You are college educated. Like you
Hmm.
deserve the job that you have. You did not need to ask to go to the bathroom. Like,
Exactly. It was weird. People were not okay. I like part of me does understand. Not no, actually no, I don't understand. I take that back because I don't know. It's just like especially when you're like close to out of college. I don't know if you guys like where you think like it can't be this way. There is no way
mhm.
in hell that this is the right way to do things. You know what I mean? And it's like it just took a lot of effort and a lot of like blood, literal blood, sweat, and tears to like
Yeah.
make things happen, you know?
Yeah. Yeah. You really are absolutely killing it. And now that so with how you're going with homage right now and like with the testing ground with Freddie's roommate and everything, how do you pitch your ideas? Like, do you work directly with the whole social
Mm.
team on campaigns? Like, how do you bring everybody along for you or with you for the approval process?
So currently it's me.
Yeah.
It's like it's me, the other coordinator, and my boss, and that's it. You know what I mean? And like when it comes to like video creation for the company, it's just me. It's just me, my phone, and a tripod. So you kind of have to be like slightly creative to like
Mhm.
plug in. But then again, I'm working with people who, number one, don't look like me, and number two, aren't plugged in as much as me, like to an obsessive degree as much as
Mhm.
me, like how the trends are moving and things like that. And it takes a lot of convincing, a lot of like I need you to like bear with me. Like for
Mhm.
example, like we were at the Indy 500 this weekend, right?
Mhm.
And so we had like a whole social plan for how it was gonna go. Like, oh, we'll talk about the history of the race or whatever and stuff like that. But then it rained, and it's like there's not much we can do right now, you know what I mean? And I was like, okay, we gotta pivot. There's no other better day to talk about this way, so we have to think of something else. And it was just me and the coordinator. And I was like, okay, what's a TikTok sound we can make out of this? What's a TikTok trend we can do something like this? And we did well, for Twitter we did, like the Lightning McQueen thing. Have you seen
Mhm.
that?
Yeah.
Where it tricks people into watching it, where it's like it was raining, and there's a trend where it's like, oh my God, did you see this lightning strike happen? And it's like a blank video, and then you see Lightning McQueen, just a picture of Lightning McQueen go, ka-chow! You
Yeah.
know? And you're like, wait, what? My boss didn't get it. My boss did not understand. I'm like, no, I get that our product is not featured in this. I get it. I understand. But if there is ever a time to plug into number one, rain delays, this race, and now, I need you to trust me on this one.
Right.
Like it was a very crusty pitch, I'm like, she's like, okay, one of the best videos we've had on Twitter in a minute, like a long time,
Wow.
Uh,
That's awesome.
yeah, and what did we do on TikTok? Oh, I did the Mean Girl sound where it's like a 38% chance that it's already raining,
Yeah.
at the track. I was like, I know that our brand is old men, but believe me when I tell you that this Mean Girl sound will work. I promise you. And it worked, and I'm like, oh my gosh, it takes a lot of convincing. You just have to be plugged in, and you just have to know who you're talking to at the same time because they're not gonna get it. They really
Yeah.
aren't, and that's okay. Sometimes, so not because they're the first audience. If it doesn't like
Right.
stick with the first
Mhm.
audience, how likely is it gonna stick with like thousands or whatever, how many people you want to see it? But eh, it's just me and two other guys. There's
Yeah.
no other way to do it.
Can you talk about the new Heights hat at Coachella?
Oh, that was such a weird battle. I'm so well. Oh, okay. Wait. Actually, never mind. I
If
should
you're
be
not allowed to
nicer.
talk about it, we can cut
I
it out.
am. I
Okay.
am. Because here's the thing. There has been a sudden influence of women to our business that I
Yeah.
think we're still trying to figure out how to handle.
Sure.
That being said, I have been like learning the ways of the Taylor Swifties, like
I will
what they're talking
consult
about.
Listen.
you any day of the week.
Yeah, I'm trying, like, like trying to like, okay, I understand that we need to talk about the NFL right now or the NBA right now. But Taylor just wore our hat. We have to do something. But here's the thing though. Like there's a constant tug and pull of we can't make enough of them, right?
Mhm.
But we literally cannot make enough of this green hat. Too bad she didn't wear the black one because we have tons of black hats, but not just specifically the green one that we thought, you know what, no one makes that. No one was gonna wear the green one. She wore the green one, right? So I'm like, okay, I understand, but if we don't hop on this moment right now, it's ephemeral. It's gone in like 2 seconds, right? And so they wanted to wait until it was restocked to talk about Taylor Swift, and you're like, I understand. You know what? And the math is mathing in my head, but the social media brain in me is like, if we don't hop on this instantly, it's gone. It's gone. So I'm looking at the TikTok numbers, and random videos are just popping off, and I'm like, oh no, because like what happens is Taylor Swift wore this hat. Go to Homage's page. What are they talking about? And it's like something not completely unrelated to the Kelsea
Right.
brothers, and we're like, we had to start pumping on. And so a week went by, and all I could do was just show a picture of the hat saying it's restocked, and I'm just like, we were like, I hate being like late to things, but it
That's
worked.
a
It was
trial, I
fine.
think, in like retail that a lot of people don't consider. I think I work in retail too, and a lot of people are like, "Oh, it's probably super easy. You sell the jeans on social, and it's super, click to
Yeah.
buy." But stuff is out of stock a lot, and it's the one thing that everybody wants, or maybe the trend that's hot right now is just not what's on your trend radar as a company. And so there's a lot of moments as a social marketer that you want to react to, and you're like, but we're not dropping that product for another 2 weeks. And you're just like, what do you do?
Yeah, I'm on team build the hype. Talk about something. Do
Same.
something,
Yeah,
Because if they're not gonna find the hat, they'll find the Travis Kelsey shirt.
there
They'll
you
wear the
go.
Big Yeti shirt. You know what I mean? Like it doesn't have to be this. It could be other things, But that's every conversation in the room that I'm in. I'm like, if we don't do this instantly, it's social media is so quick, like so quick that if you're not talking about it right now, you're already too late. You know what I mean? It's very
Yeah.
like frustrating. But
Yeah. And in the year of Taylor Swift, you cannot skip a moment where she mentions your brand. Like you miss millions. You
yeah,
just can't do it.
yeah.
But you have
Good.
to do it legally.
I'm trying. I'm trying so hard.
So
And
how
then
does
and
that
then
impact you as a creator? Like, how do you still be creative, jump on things when you can't talk about things?
ooh. Well, how do I talk about things when you can't talk about things? Because there's always something adjacent that it could be paying attention to. Luckily, the thing that my current job is like, if they're not talking about NFL, there's a bunch of teams in the same area that you could probably talk about, like if we're not talking about Travis Kelsey and Taylor Swift, we could be talking about the Eagles.
Right.
Or what's his name? Is it Jason?
Yeah.
Jason just
Yeah.
retired.
Mhm.
We have a lot of Eagles gear. That's the same SEO. Kelsey is in the same SEO, or it's like, have you heard about the New Heights podcast shirts that we also have? Like there's SEO ways around it where you just gotta find something else to talk about that
Yeah.
is also in the wave. You know what I
Yeah.
mean?
I'm obsessed with using TikTok as an SEO platform. Is that
Ooh.
something that you work on educating your leadership about?
Yes, because I don't
Yes.
know, because like, I mean, I'm working with people who are very good at their jobs and then like things to be clean. But
Mhm.
sometimes, weirdly, clean is not where you want to be. You know what I mean? Like, I'll submit a video with the TikTok text in it,
Mm.
and they're
Right.
like, well, that red that you used isn't like the homage red, or isn't like, can we make it? And it's like, I get it, but the way TikTok works is like, if you when you post a video on TikTok and you make it in TikTok, TikTok scans it to make sure you don't have any like weapons or like any nudity or anything like that, right? And then it posts it to a couple people that really like your content and then sends it out to the mass majority if those people really like it, right? When you make a video outside of TikTok, the process of it scanning your video takes longer than it usually does when you make it inside the app, right? And so if I make it really nice and very clean in Adobe Premiere or CapCut, whatever, the process of it, the chances of it hitting that right time, right person is lower, but not impossible. But you do lower your chances slightly, right? Because TikTok is scanning it. Sometimes it puts it in this weird thing called TikTok jail, like it's a very colloquial term. And it's like, okay, I don't have any weapons. It's just me and a t-shirt. And TikTok says, okay, you're good. You're good. Sometimes that's an hour. Sometimes that's 20 minutes. You never know. And then it sends it out, right? So when I submit a video that maybe isn't the cleanest with like the things that they want, it's like, trust me, you have to include the text in the video within the app so that the app knows what you're talking about sometimes. You know what I mean? And
So
sometimes
are
that
you,
works. Yeah. Oh, go ahead. Go ahead.
sorry, are you educating your leadership on all of that stuff when you talk about a lot about like I have to do a lot of convincing. It takes a lot of convincing, right? Like is this conversations that you're having in meetings where you're doing this education or you're building this into your decks? I want to talk about this to help other social media marketers who are trying to fight the same battle every single day of like, they won't let me build it in TikTok and I need to build it in TikTok.
In the beginning, it was
Mhm.
in the very beginning, but now like now that I'm a year in, it's like they can get what I'm trying to say. And sometimes I'm not as articulate as I want to be when it talks about that stuff, you know? But in the beginning, it was a lot of like TikTok 101 and
Mhm.
how like things trend or how viral moments happen, right? And once I present it, it's up to them to like pick and choose what they like out of it, I guess, you know? It's
Right.
like, well, maybe we don't want to use a mean girl sound, but it works sometimes, you know? But like, I'm just a worker. You know, it's like I gave them the tools. It's up to them to like figure what they want out of it. You know what I mean? Does that make
Sure.
sense?
Yeah. No, totally
Yeah.
get it.
Yeah, that makes sense. That's our idea with this whole thing is to be able to take you as a content creator and have someone send this to like their marketing director and say, this is the best way to work with a content creator.
Here's the thing. You know what's interesting though? When as Freddie's roommate, it's sometimes it's an easier bit of discussion. Sometimes it is because now like I have the ammo and on Freddie's roommate where I was like, aha, I have my own analytics to prove that
Yeah.
it works. You know, but it's a different conversation because when you're a content creator, you know your audience and they know your audience knows when they're watching an ad. You know, we all know that we scroll. We all see that little orange icon where it says TikTok shop. We know.
Yeah.
We know, right? So you have to hide the medicine in the cheese. But when you have us like slightly more power, you and just in my experience, right? Because a lot of brands would be like, you have to include this language in the video. And I'm
Right.
like,
Mhm.
okay. And sometimes the hit is worth it because they're paying money for it, you know? But sometimes you get the rare moment where it's like, hey, I know it looks dumb. I know it looks dumb that I'm holding a plant. I know it looks dumb that I'm holding like a random body part or like a bone. I get it. I promise you it looks weird. But trust me, it's engagement. I promise you it works, you know? And since they've seen the video of me holding a skull and talking into it, they're like, oh, wait, you know what? That might work, you know? And I think it's nice. Sometimes it's nice when your work can speak for itself. You know what I mean?
Yeah, it's terrible. As a person who works with brands and hires creators all the time, it really, really frustrates me whenever I'm working with like a brand team or someone and they try to tell me to give a creator scripts. I'm like, no, that we're hiring them for their voice, their audience. We cannot script them. That's not how that works. There's no point in hiring them otherwise. It just doesn't. Otherwise, let's just do ads. It doesn't make sense.
Exactly. Exactly.
Has that impacted you and your career? I'm not sure if you touch content creators and influencer marketing and affiliates and all that fun stuff, but are you a little bit more empathetic? Are you influencing that world a little bit more as a content creator?
So the person who works with the content creators in my current job is a totally separate person, you know, but it makes me highly critical, way more highly
You
critical than
have
I
a good
should be.
idea about this. I told Kelsey about your pitch that
Like, because now that I know both sides on it, I know when someone's bullshitting. You know, like Justin knows when they're bullshitting. Like, I've talked to the guy, and he'll be like, you know, they told me they just couldn't do it. And I know for a fact it's possible. And I'll
Right.
show him, no, here's how you do it. Here's XYZ. And I'm like, what? That's crazy. Okay, here's a prime example. You know? So that I can talk about because it happened so long ago, right? the I oftentimes will do like these compilations of videos of all the influencers things, and I put it together in an editor, right? Some creators will record in TikTok, right? And so here's an actual good piece of advice for content creators and brands. Don't do that. Please don't record it in the app. Please. This is coming from the editor because you know what happens is you record it and you think it looks all nice and fancy, and then you download it to your phone, right? There's a crunch that happens where it's compressing the video, right? A second compression happens when you email it to the person that you need to email it to, right? That person will then download it and then it compresses even further. And then they will post that, which then compresses it in even further, right? And so if you recorded it at 4K, by the time it gets to me, it looks like it looks like a tin can of soup. You know what I mean? Like it don't do that. Don't do that. But then I'll hear like, well, that's all they can do. And I'm like, I know for a fact that if you change your settings in your iPhone and then record it with some good lighting, you're gonna look like your baby Jesus. There is no way you don't know how to do that. There's zero chance that any content creator worth their salt doesn't know how to change their iPhone settings. So what you're gonna do is you're gonna go to your settings and you're gonna change the video format to 4K, right? And then bump up the frame speed or FPS, right? To maybe 30. If you're feeling dangerous and have the storage space, make it 4K by 60, right? Record what you need to do. Edit it in CapCut or Adobe Premiere. Don't let it touch the TikTok screen. Please, I beg of you, right? I'm begging you, right? Then send that file off and then we will add the text on our end. We will take your video and then post it and put the text within the app so the app knows what you're talking about. That is the perfect scenario. Has that ever happened to me in my lifetime? No, it's never happened, no matter how much I beg for it. And then please, if you're a content creator or if you're a brand, don't let them record in the app. Just it looks crisper. You'll thank me later. I promise. You know, that's
PSA.
if you get one thing out of this.
Two things. You're a video producer. That's the new title. And don't record in TikTok.
Don't do it. Don't do it. And you will take the hit of it being in like TikTok jail for like a couple minutes, but I promise you it will look better. I promise. But I'll get off my soapbox now. I'm so sorry.
It will. No, you have a really unique POV just because you work as a video producer and the in-house video producer. But whenever you do it independently, like, yes, your dream would be to be invited to a movie premiere or something along those lines. You do critique film, TV, everything like pretty intensely and in a very fair way. Do you think that could, like, have you ever gotten backlash from a film studio for any critiques that you've ever done?
Ooh. I don't know if that counts though. I don't know if that counts. I've talked about actors and then they reply, you know? And in the thing, but I don't know if that counts as a movie studio. Or maybe the actor was like, you know what, put him on the blacklist. And I just never seen again, you know? But like, weirdly, I think this happened a lot with The Bachelor, and now I can't talk about The Bachelor like a lot anymore because they do see it and they do reply, and then they follow me back, and then it's weird. And now it's weird, and I can't do it. I tweet a lot about The Bachelor and Bachelorette. Like when I first started out, I would tweet a lot about the franchise right there, and like the contestants maybe would see it if the tweet goes like viral, right? But now if I sit down and make a video about it, right, we are in, this is off topic but on topic at the same time. We are in such a weird era when it comes to influencer marketing, right? If you like rewind the clock about 10 years ago, everyone wanted to be like on The Bachelor to get that 1 million followers on Instagram, right? But that's not the case anymore because people realize that a lot of those men and women don't know how to create content. They don't know how to build a lasting audience. You know, they don't know how to like do anything that's like besides just them looking attractive and being like amazing and cool in the picture. But when this growth of video happened, you actually had to have a personality. You actually had to have a talent. You had to actually like know the trends of what you're talking about more so than just hiring a professional photographer and putting the right hashtags in it, right? And what's weird about this is so random. I'm so sorry. What's weird about The Bachelor is that the people who know how to do that are far more successful in this new era of influencer marketing than the people that are just Instagram only people, but they don't know how to do the video side of it. So when it comes to like TikTok, we are seeing numbers that are far lower than they were 5-6 years ago. Like the era of the ultimate bachelor or bachelorette influencer is maybe over, unless you're like
I feel that way. Yeah.
You never see Alex Earl on The Bachelorette, for example.
You'll never see her there, you know, because
I think too, like,
go ahead.
Sorry, you'll see two people who didn't even make it past night one who are like popping on TikTok because they know how to your point, like know how to create the content and keep it going. And it's like she's already got an audience on TikTok. She was on one episode and she made it last, you know? So you see the reverse of it too, which is really funny. But yeah, it's almost like this new generation of Bachelor, because I'm a big Bachelor girl as well too.
What? Really? Oh my gosh.
You sound so shocked.
No, it's just like I'm just in my bubble because I try to stay out of spoilers. So I don't go on the internet and talk about it unless I have something to say. You know what I mean?
I'm a 32-year-old mom from Ohio, so I am the target audience. But it's almost like because it's still 22, 23-year-olds, right? Like they are like the digital natives that like we're doing it anyway. So they come on the show for 20 seconds and then they know they're going to get the followers if they do it right and make it stretch. But I've got friends that have been on reality TV shows and expect the things to happen and nothing happens because you got to work. You got to do the other side of it too. And if you don't, you'll stay at your 2,000 Instagram followers and your hashtag ad with, I don't know, Downy clothes softener. And that's it.
Yeah, that's Kelsey. I think that leads us to another question that we had for you, Justin. What do you think, this is for both content creators and like leadership people, what do you wish both content creators and senior leadership people knew about working with content creators? Like, how do you wish, if you had the ideal setup of people working with you, what do you wish you had? Not necessarily your current job, anything. Like, what do you wish for?
I would implore people to know that there's no replacement for good content. There's no, nowadays, like in 2024, there is no replacement for good content, right? And what I mean by that is like, it is not enough to throw the item at someone with a bigger following anymore, which is weird because you couldn't say that a couple years ago. The game has changed significantly in that even if we're sticking with The Bachelor, if I go, hey, Maria, wear my lip gloss. I'm lip gloss company. Please wear my lip gloss and please use it in a video, right? People are so hyper aware of what they're being sold or when they're being sold to. It is not enough for, if I was Maria, just here's a get ready with my lip gloss. That's not gonna do as much as we think it would have done a couple of years ago, right? But if I trust Maria and I'm the brand and I think, you know what, she's cool, she knows how to make content. You know what, Maria, can you do a story time? Get like where you're putting on your makeup and telling me about your time in The Bachelor and just show the product and like put it on the way we want to. That's more successful and that's an engaging amount of content better than just buy this lip gloss. You know what I'm saying? Does that make any sense? And I don't think brands get that anymore. And like, and I don't know if you're like as deep in the weeds as TikTok as I'm on. Like, have you guys heard of Tarte? You know what's going on?
Oh yeah. Tripping with Tarte to Bora Bora. Of course I know.
Yes, and the fact that we're still talking about the brand trip from Tarte, like that went from hell like a year later, and now it's effects. It is wild because I'm so sorry, but it's on topic, I promise. Because
I know where you're going with this. Keep going.
So there's a content creator right now who, a Black content creator who is upset that she is not getting the amount of brand awareness as Alex Earl is, right? And I agree with that sentiment, you know what I mean? But number one, Alex Earl came up on a time where TikTok was still fresh, the pandemic was happening, and Alex Earl did a lot of work to, I don't know, brand herself or made herself in a way or formed her image where a brand can say, I'm going to put this t-shirt on Alex Earl. I'm going to put this on Alex Earl. She's wearing this, you know, to form the Alex Earl that we see today, right? Now, when it comes to 2024, where TikTok shop is a thing, we are hyper aware of what we're being sold to. The return on investment is wild and in between, right? We have to be more creative. We have to be more funny. We have to be more engaging than we were before. And we have to play by the rules on an app that might get banned in a couple of years, right? The rules are not the same, right?
They're not. Yeah.
They're not. And so when it comes to this, like when I'm talking to a brand as a content creator, right? Justin would love to go to a movie premiere. That would be so fun. I would love that. Justin knows that's not as successful as me um, asking Ryan Reynolds a funny question, and he happens to have your product on. You know, and it's like,
Right.
or like, that is not going to be successful as I'm a sauce company, and Ryan Reynolds gets our sauce all over his shirt accidentally in a viral hit video. You know what I mean? The rules are different. It's not enough to throw the thing at, because what I see a lot is, hey, can we send you this? Hey, can we send you like this? Can you do this? You know? And number one, people are so hip to the game, they're not going to do it for free. Stop sending people free stuff. I have so many free things that, thanks for sending it to me. If I wear it, I'll let you know. You know what I mean? I don't work for free. You know, like when I first got Freddie, one of the biggest rules that they had about beagles is beagles don't work for free because they're very food motivated. I am also food motivated. Yes, put gas in my tank, please. So give me money, but people, creators aren't doing it for free. And if they are, and if they're willing to do it for free, they're not the best content creators that you could be working for at all. If you're a content creator on the other side, don't do stuff for free. Don't, you ruin it for everyone. Please don't do that. And also, I think there is a weird belief that we aren't held to the same standards as like a 9 to 5 person. And what I mean by that is we still have to turn in stuff on time. We still have to deliver a good product and good. It is not enough for them just be like, yeah, you should be sending me stuff, you know? No, we got to deliver on our end too. And then sometimes where I really want something to happen and then they send me or they do the thing and it just doesn't get the views. And it's like, I have to be better. I have to be more creative in that way. But if there was a dream scenario, I would have a team of me. There would at least be 3 of me, you know? At the very least, one for each channel, because I think we're at a point where you can't avoid video anymore. You have to have it on every single channel, including Twitter, weirdly. And not Threads, though. Threads is weird. I don't know how to feel about Threads, but it's
on LinkedIn now, too, as of like
on
this
LinkedIn?
week.
Oh, no.
Video is, yeah.
You can't avoid it. You can't avoid it. And I'm not saying everyone needs to be a news producer, a news editor, but you should know how to put together a clip.
Yeah.
You should know how to lower the volume on a clip. You should know that we should be mic'd. You know, we are not immune to good quality things just because we have a high follower count. That's what I would say. But that's a whole nother podcast.
Yeah. All right.
Okay, Justin, we want to be conscious of your time. We have some rapid fire
Oh my
questions.
Are
to
we
round
running
out
out of
the
time?
episode.
Oh,
We
no.
are. So
Okay,
fun.
okay. Go.
We just get to chatting and the chats just keep going. Okay. What's the biggest lesson you've learned in the last 5 years? And who'd you learn it from? We know it wasn't your boss.
Ooh. The biggest lesson, don't work for free. There is no ROI on free. Don't work for free ever. Even if you only have 10,000 followers. And if a brand tells you that they don't have enough money, maybe you shouldn't be working with that brand, and that's okay. But also have examples of your work.
Yes.
I think there was a period where we talked about earlier, the fashion period. I was buying that stuff myself. Old Navy didn't send me stuff at that time. I bought it myself, and that's okay because it did deliver something. But don't break the bank and don't do it for free.
And you were super transparent about buying all of that yourself too. And it was great. It was adorable. Okay. And he still does it. Everybody go watch Justin's try on hauls. They're so cute.
It's weird. The jumpsuit thing, I'm still trying to wrap my head around it. I haven't like squared that circle yet. I'm trying.
They look nice. Okay. Well, the answer might be jumpsuits. What trait do you see in others that you wish you had more of?
Ooh, trait that I wish I had more of. I'm very critical of myself, and I wish people would I wish I could see myself from outside of myself sometimes, because I'm very critical. If it's not to the standard it needs to be, then It's not gonna happen. You know, that's years of the grind of news where you have to get it right and right the first time. There's no like second chance with breaking news, right? So I guess I wish I could be less critical of myself sometimes. You know what I mean?
That's a good one. That's a good one people take with them.
Yeah.
Last one, rapid fire. And you can take a second to think about it if you need to, but best advice you've ever received.
Best advice I've ever received? It has to be like this related to this podcast.
No,
right?
literally anything. Literally
anything. Oh gosh, this is so difficult. Mind the business that pays you. You know, like I said this recently, no response is a response. You don't need to say everything. You don't need to comment on everything. There's a lot of things where I'm like, you know what? It would hurt more just to say anything at all. You know, sometimes it's worth it to like sit down and learn about an issue before like shooting off the hip of what you think is going to happen or think is happening. It's okay. Just chill out. Learn what you need to know. And no response. If you're not responding now, that is a response. You know, not every brand needs to respond to everything right away. Sometimes it's worth it just to chill out and take a minute and then say what you need to say. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
I think that's perfect. Applicable to work and to life.
Mm-hmm.
There's a Big Sean lyric. It says, I don't reply because that's the clearest way to send a message.
Yes! Yes, that's what I should have quoted. Ah, dang it.
That's my life motto.
Oh my gosh. That's what I needed to say and I didn't.
That's okay. You said it in another way, in your own way.
That's beautiful. Okay. All right, Justin, tell us where we can follow you.
I say this every part. You can find me wherever toys are sold, on Twitter, TikTok, and on Instagram at Freddy's Roommate.
All right.
Awesome.
Thank you. And I also appreciate that you refuse to call it X because I also refuse to call it X.
I think it's gonna change. I don't think X is gonna last. There's no it's gonna last. I don't think there's a world without Twitter at this point, but X is not sticking around. I don't think so.
I won't call it X. I'll just call it Twitter.
Maybe it's the millennial like anger in us. We grew up on Twitter. You don't understand.
Yeah, I'm keeping my footies and I'm keeping my Twitter. Leave me alone.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Oh, that's
Wild.
funny.
Right.
Don't forget the side part. We're keeping that.
Oh, I flip it.
And skinny
All right.
jeans.
Thanks for hanging, Justin.
Thanks, Justin. You've been awesome.
Thanks.
Individual Contributor is hosted and produced by Meredith Ulmer and Kelsea Cozad, with producing and editing by Jesse Hummelgarn. Music is called Open Spaces by Hybridize and can be found on Upbeat. Get new episodes and catch up on past episodes by following Individual Contributor on YouTube and your favorite podcast app.